The Sisters Grimm podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Please, listen at your own discretion.
Tiptoe through the window.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The most notorious serial killer in the nation, the Night Stalker.
The Boston Strangler.
The Son of Sam. The infamous Zodiac Killer.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Get away from her, you bitch!
Welcome to the Sisters Grimm podcast.
How'd you do this? Show you.
Mama just killed a boy. It was at Bohemian Grove. Okay. I can't. That was bad. But speaking of Bohemian Rhapsody, this episode is not about Freddie Mercury, but it is about Bohemian Grove.
Right. Are we going to say what this podcast is called?
I think it's called the Sisters Grimm Podcast.
Since when?
May of 2017?
Yeah, 2013 is when we started this podcast.
Oh my god. Yeah, kind of feels like it some days.
Some days.
So, I'm obsessed with Bohemian Rhapsody still.
Yeah, we know. Holly saw Bohemian Rhapsody and was obsessed with it.
And Morgan hates it.
I haven't seen it. I don't hate it.
Morgan told me not to spoil it for her, and I was like, spoiler alert, he has AIDS and dies at the end.
I didn't want you to tell me anything a really powerful,
I know.
a scene that I want, to be surprised by or something.
Well, if you're surprised by the Live Aid performance...
Okay.
Anyhoozle.
So yeah, this episode's about Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, we're doing our very first... Is this our first conspiracy theory? Did we do a conspiracy theory?
No, we've done a cult
Why
episode.
Why is my voice so high? You're right.
This is more of like a secret society.
Yeah, you're right. This is more secret society that has conspiracy theories in it.
Yeah, well, I think
Maybe don't say
anything
SS
that's supposed to... Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't, mean it like that.
Right, no. It's cool.
Every, I think, secret society out there has... Any, big one has conspiracies about them.
And they're literally all on the dollar bill. I'll get to that later.
Cool.
So, if you've never heard of Bohemian Grove and want information that's informational and doesn't treat allegations as the truth, and from everything I've read... What was I on when I wrote that sentence?
For sure.
I don't know. So, anyhoozle, I bought this book on Kindle. It's called The Bohemian Grove by Mark Dice. It's where I get the majority of my information because it felt... I think what I was trying to say in that sentence was, I feel like in terms of Boho Grow, it has the best kind of concise, information put
the
together.
Stuff that seems the most credible.
And it's not, bullshit like Wikipedia.
Right.
So, the Bohemian Club started in San Francisco, California, in 1872 by a group of male artists, musicians, and writers as a way for adults to party like frat boys. So, basically for old guys to be like, I'm young, I'm gonna party and fuck all night.
Let's play beer pong and suck on some big old titty. I don't know.
Yeah, let's suck on some show me those ankles, baby. Let's party like it's 1872.
True.
No, it was like... Okay, so anyway. But the club became incredibly popular. I mean, artists obviously know how to throw the best parties. Bringing it back to Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm sorry. So they decided that they were going to start letting new members in, and they were businessmen with lots of cash. The OG Bohemian Club members considered themselves men of talent, whereas they referred to the wealthy newcomers as men of use. So they looked down on them quite a bit.
Yeah.
They were like, we're artists and you're boring, but you have money and we want to have crazier parties and you're cool with that, so we're going to use your money to have all these crazy
cool,
parties.
Weird parties.
Yeah. Literally
kind of smart.
Weird. I mean, it wasn't dumb. I mean, did they get what they want? Yeah. By the early 1800s, I think I meant to say 1900s, the Bohemian Club started holding, or maybe I meant early, IDK, They started holding these weekend retreats, and they were always in the middle of the summer in an enormous area in the redwood forests around Sonoma County in California.
Good old wine country.
Yep, that's how they talk up there, too. It's so weird you say that. In 1901, they bought 160 acres of land in the dense forest in the place we now know as Bohemian Grove, and now it's currently 4 square miles. Which I'm not good with measurements or anything, but to put it into perspective,
do that for us.
It's the size of LAX.
Pretty fucking big.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good reference. It's also, I looked this up on a website, it's also 15 trillion times bigger than the tip of a ballpoint pen. If that helps anyone. So, like, I don't know if, like, the LAX or the ballpoint pen, like, some people might hear the ballpoint pen
resonates
thing.
with you more?
Like, oh, okay, it's, oh my god,
wow,
that is huge. So, I'm just gonna say now, these aren't your everyday camps. Like, this is not your...
Bow and arrows, horses.
This isn't
or, like,
bug
noodle
juice.
jewelry.
No, there's no macrame.
Macaroni jewelry.
There's
a penne bracelet.
Yeah,
that you paint with glitter.
Yeah, there's
I miss Camp Tuckabatchee.
Yeah, there's no bug juice. Remember the TV show?
Holy shit! Yes, I remember Bug Juice, bitch.
That TV show rather. So good.
Ugh, always made me thirsty.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Me too. Wait, for the drink or because, like, it didn't seem like the children
and I
there
felt
had
like they
a
were
lot of...
always drinking juice in the show.
I know, they really juiced
I remember
those
watching that
kids
show
up.
at Nana and Granddad's.
Cool, me too. So, like I said, this ain't no regular campsite.
Mm-hmm.
They're not staying in fucking cabins. There's these huge fancy clubhouses with gigantic
They're glamping,
sleeping...
if you will.
Oh, glamping to, like, the highest extent you can possibly imagine.
Right.
To call this place a camp would be like calling the ocean a glass of water. It's staffed by local teenagers, because there's also...
That's very, like, Jason, like, camp.
It is a little
Crystal
bit.
Lake.
There's huge industrial kitchens, like there's restaurants, there's also indoor and outdoor amphitheaters, because there's lots of concerts and stuff.
Sounds pretty lit.
Yeah, you're about to not think so pretty soon. So anyways, it's staffed by these local teenagers, and they're usually too young to recognize or care who the, like, secretive members of the club used to be. Mm-hmm. I forgot to mention this part, but during the 1930s, boho grow became very popular amongst U.S. politicians as a way to unwind without public scrutiny. There is Camp David, which is
a
retreat
there's that
place.
in like every
group
of
secrets. Oh yeah, I mean, it's the Illuminati. They're usually
clubs
considered
like that in
to
LA for like celebrities.
The Bilderberg group, but there's not as much like crazy conspiracy that there is with this one, and there's also, I'll get to it. But yeah, like the teenagers there, obviously, like they're not gonna know minor political people are, because a lot of former presidents have gone there, but when you're current presidents aren't allowed to go because they are like under so much security, and it's kind of supposed to be a
chill thing.
Supposed to be chill, because once the presidents and like politicians and stuff started joining, that's when there became a media blackout, because this was a way for them to talk without anyone having to know about it. So you, as you were saying, sounds pretty lit. You think this sounds like a cool place. Maybe you listeners at home, we've piqued your interest, and maybe you want to join Bohemian Grove.
The location seems chill. The whole secret undertone isn't the best. Continue, though.
Yeah, so if you're going to try to get in, good fucking luck. Because, first of all, you have to be a male. Although recently, the look on Morgan's face just says it all. She made the perfect face, that I'm sure every other person made. But recently they've started letting women join, but they're only considered quote-unquote honorary members. So it's
Gross.
like, you can be part of it.
Gross.
You gross girl.
I was gonna say, that's literally like girls.
We're throwing
no
you a
girls
bone.
allowed in my room signs on your door. You little pussy bitches.
Yeah, honestly. So, you also have to be referred by 2 other members of the group whom you aren't related to, and you have to go through a screening process by other members. So kind of like a job. So that kind of makes sense. Also...
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, even, like, people who, like, are joining, country clubs.
Yeah, they go
you
through
have to
those
go
kind
through,
of...
like, a screening. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure, totally. But it's expensive as fuck. The most recent admission fee that I got was from the 90s, which was... $10K.
Damn.
So with inflation in the past 30-ish years, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't in 3 figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on top of all that, there's a monthly fee, which is probably a couple $1,000s now. The waiting list to join the club is extensively long, seeing as no one ever quits the club. You pretty much are only not in the club anymore.
If you die.
Yeah. Which, is your way to join, and that's always a blast.
Yeah.
So the first book that was exposing the Grove and the going-ons there was written by William Domhoff in 1974, called Bohemian Grove and Other Retreats. I didn't read it, so I don't know what the other retreats are, but I bet they're juicy. I have no idea. It talks about how there was a group of elite men who went to summer retreats and how the meetings that took place there had a huge socioeconomic effect because it's happening off the books. They're talking about public things that aren't being revealed to the public.
Right.
The book was also the first time people heard about the cremation of care.
Wow. Wait, didn't you say you're going to give me a present at some point of this?
Yep, it's coming up.
Oh, okay, so it's like timed.
Spoiler alert. So Morgan...
You're the one who were obvious about it.
I asked you to close your eyes. That could have been for anything. I could have been taking off my pants.
But luckily, because you're my sister...
That'd be okay?
Wasn't.
Yeah, no. So yeah, present corner is coming soon, Morgan. You're like a little kid on Christmas morning.
Always.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning and you're like, Mom, let's open presents! And I'm like, fuck you!
No, I like to sleep in. You know that about
I know.
me, girl.
I do. So, at its core, the cremation of care is basically just a human sacrifice, so to speak.
Okay.
So, you get to the Grove. You get to Boho Grove.
Which is like this lit camp.
Yeah, you drive down a couple miles. You're like in this huge redwood forest. There's security guards everywhere. There's signs telling you to go back, but it doesn't matter because you're rich white male asshole and you get to go in. They also have weird names for everybody. I don't really get into it, but there's like hillbillies and that's like good.
Okay.
So, opening night, like the opening ceremony, you're all standing outside of this big, one of those big open amphitheaters I was talking about. And at the very center is this dude who'll come out, and he's the high priest. He wears silver robes and a red cape. And he also comes out with about 24 other men, also wearing long black capes. And they're holding flaming torches, and they're all wearing masks.
Okay.
Yes.
What kind of a mask?
Like animal masks.
Whoa.
So, and it's very eyes wide shut.
Okay.
Which I'll kind of get to later. So, like I said, it's a human sacrifice, but instead of it actually being a loving, living human being, it's just an effigy that's constructed out of metal and then wrapped in paper and then placed at the base of a 40-foot tall owl. 40-foot tall.
Yeah, that's really tall.
Owl? This is when things start to get like, what? Because before it was just like, okay, it's just like, boys being, like, I hate it.
I guess.
But like boys being boys, just like,
blah, 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 blah.
But now it's like you're fucking a 40-foot owl, huh? Hello. More on the owl later. But seriously, Google that owl right now. It's fucking terrifying.
Really?
So, yeah. So the high
I'm Googling
priest
it.
gives. No, I will show you a picture. I have
I'm
a
listening.
picture of it.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna Google it.
Okay. That was gross. Sorry. So the high priest gives a speech that is really boring. And he says things like, "Oh, great owl, prince of all mortal wisdom, owl of Bohemia, we beseech thee." I don't know if this is how they say it, but this is how I would.
So the first thing that I look up when I say Bohemian Grove, it said Bohemian Grove, Chicago.
That's weird.
That
I've
is
Googled
weird.
that a lot, so I don't know why my Google and your Google would be connected
Whoa,
than...
it is fucking weird.
Yeah. It's the weirdest. It's fucking...
It's also very, like,
shitty?
I was gonna say, I don't know, basic?
Basic? Yes, okay. I kind of get to that. Any whoozle. They also say things like, "Midsummer set us free," and "No weaving spiders come not here," which makes zero fucking sense, but I'm going to do my best to explain later, because it is the Bohemian Grove's motto. There's a live orchestra there playing a very dramatic music, like "Ah, Fortuna." Actually, it's just like really...
Fortuna?
Oh, Fortuna, you know?
I had tuna for lunch.
Yeah.
I had tuna on pumpernickel.
I had a tuna teeny. Did you have too much tuna?
No, I had just enough.
Just enough. With knock krill and gin Maloney. So, anywho, back to that cremation. Their orchestra, like I said, everybody's singing, everyone's cheering, and everyone's just acting like this is a fucking normal thing that happens all the time.
With a big weird owl staring at them.
With this big fucking weird ass owl.
It does look very camp.
It does look campy, I will say, in this picture, but is this the picture that you saw when you first Googled? Yeah. Well, because now I'm going to get back to that fucking owl. So, yeah, Morgan ruined the present because also Morgan peeked over at me notes.
You said look at the picture.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say look at my notes, but anyway.
Sorry that my eyes glazed.
Okay, so in honor of, the Bohemia, the owl.
Uh-huh.
I got you. Vamp.
Everybody knows that it's time for presents. Presents corner with Holly and Morgan. Yeah.
Oh, I found it.
Good, because my song's over and I can't think of any more.
Cool. I mean,
oh my god, it's so cute! Is it Hedwig?
No, it's just it's an owl.
Okay, it has creepy eyes, but I really
that's
like
why
it.
That's why I got it, because it's really creepy.
I like that it's soft.
I almost got you one that was missing an eye just because I thought it'd be funnier, but I thought you'd be mad.
That. No, I would have liked that.
Rip one off.
No, because I like that his eyes are kind of wonky and he looks sort of like Tuesday.
I know. Aren't they? He does. So Tuesday looks... Anyways. So
She's a wonky eye, but...
And that was Present Corner with Holly and Morgan.
I love my weird soft owl thing. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a Christmas... You put it on your tree.
I'm going to put it on my black Christmas tree when I get home. Yep. I have a black one, like black like my soul.
And say, "No weaving spiders, come not here." So anyway, let's get back to that fucking owl. Like we said, Morgan said it looked basic. And I would agree. But anyway, the owl itself symbolizes wisdom because owls can see in the dark. And
owls are fucking lit.
Yeah, and owls are analogous to being like super enlightened. And so all of the people obviously at Bohemian Grove, yes.
I think they're so cool.
They're so cool. But like Bohemia, because I mean it was started by artists, and Bohemia is just like a bunch of like cool vagabonds. Mm-hmm. And now it's like Dick Cheney. You know what he's not? Cool. Not even kinda.
No.
So I realize that owls are very popular. Like, honestly, like now, because of this, whenever I see an owl, I'm like, huh? I'm like, who?
When was the last time you saw an owl? There's not just a lot running around Chicago.
I mean, like, aesthetically, like, they're like
like
stickers.
my ornament?
Like your ornament. Like owls, like
my oil diffuser at home?
Exactly. Like, but are they just like
I love owls.
Are they assimilating that into our culture? I don't fucking know, to make us feel stronger. I don't know.
Well, that and Harry Potter for sure.
Well, yeah, that probably, maybe that's why there's the mail system. the USPS is run by the fucking government, man.
Probably owls.
Oh my god.
Fake owls, because birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Are owls a bird?
I fucking hate you. Are owls a bird?
Or are they kind of like a turtle?
Fuck.
I don't know. I'm kidding.
Do you... Okay. Do you mean...
Are
owls
owls
and turtles similar? Or do you mean like the difference between amphibians...
Is an owl poultry?
No! Oh my god. After this episode, we're gonna have to like watch an episode. Like, we need to watch the
like
bird.
An agriculture class
we're gonna watch the bird episode of Planet Earth and Richard.
Is there a bird one?
I don't know. We'll find something.
Okay.
Anywho's, oh god.
Sorry.
No, that's hilarious. But regarding governmental shit and owls, if you look very closely at some, I realize, not all, of the U.S. $1 bill, there is a tiny little owl on the left-hand side next to the one.
Oh my god, I've never noticed it. I'm going to go home and look because I have so many singles on my kitchen
table. I was so mad because I usually always have singles on me for the bus, but I only had one with me and it didn't have a little L. And
so they don't all have it?
They don't. That's how I found out that they don't all have it. But
only some do?
Yeah.
I have a lot at home. I'll go home and look, and if I find one, I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, please. I was going to just Google it, but I wanted to see it with like my own human eyes, you know? Mine, it was like from 2006, so maybe it's older ones. I don't know.
For sure.
They change up like the design. I have no fucking clue. So the huge ass owl at Boho Grow is, like we said, basic. It's made out of concrete. Many say the owl's ears look more horn-like, making it look more like a demon and less like an owl. But to be fair, the sculptor could have just sucked at sculpting owls.
Yeah, it seems like he just isn't good.
He's like, what is owl again? I don't know why I made him Russian.
Or like something.
What is owl? In my country, no owl. So a lot of people, like I said, think that the owl, you know, who, honestly, do you remember Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple? Do you remember the show Legends of the Hidden Temple?
No, not really.
It's just a little after you, I think.
After me or before me?
After. It would have, or no, before. Yeah, it's a little before you. Like, cause, like, you know,
Blueberry. Like, I know I've heard of it, and like, I generally get it, but I don't really ever remember watching it.
Did you ever watch, like, Global Guts or Guts?
Yeah, Guts.
Global Guts. But you never watched, had Legends, like, Blue Barracudas?
Not that I can really remember.
It's like, at the very end, they, like, the one team would get to go through that crazy-ass maze.
Yeah, I mean, I remotely remember it.
Okay, yeah, so that's
You're jogging my memory.
Yeah. There's people out there probably screaming at you, being like, it's this! Like, oh my god, I used to get panic attacks because they only had so much time to go through, like, those little areas, and some of the rooms, like, they would, like, just have someone dressed up as something and come out and grab you, and then you just showed up and then they just show up at the end of the game, and it's like, where was that kid for the rest?
Right, where'd
like,
he
in
go?
the meantime. But speaking of where the fuck did kids go,
hopefully
some people,
nowhere creepy.
Yeah, well, many believe that the owl represents the horned god Molech, who back in biblical times people would sacrifice their children to Molech. He's mentioned a lot.
Why?
For like fun. No, honestly.
But for what reason? You have to sacrifice for a reason.
Well, it was like a satanic thing. So, okay, this is mentioned in Leviticus, which is the craziest and most boring book of the Bible. So I'm guessing that the reason they're sacrificing children is why, for whatever reason, it's so, oh my god, it was, I was watch the movie The Devil's Candy. It's really good. Or was it The Devil's Candy? I honestly don't even fucking know. But anywho's a Leviticus. Like, if you do some sort of sin, God is like, you have to kill a bull, and it has to be not sick, and like all of this shit, and it's like, but if you do this, and then it's all this fucking weird shit. But then there's also, it was that one movie, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, yeah.
With Emile Hirsch. It's really fucking good. And I'm not going to say what that verse is, because I don't want to ruin the movie for anybody, because it's really good. So, Like I said, it's just boring, but I'm guessing they probably do that, like, to make it rain again. So, like I said before, their motto is "Weaving spiders come not here," or "are not welcome here," or something. It doesn't make any sense. But it's just a little phrase, and according to the club, it means that guests aren't allowed to discuss business during the retreat. It's just for play, not, no business, like leave work at work. But other people believe that it means don't challenge any member, or basically snitches get stitches.
For sure.
Yeah. So now I'm going to get to some notable members. We've been talking about how presidents...
Oh, people that we would know?
Oh, fucking... Like, not personally.
Well,
Technically, I did meet one of them.
So, Jay Bush, the late...
Obviously. And other titans of industry have been and are still part of Bohemian Grove. And, like I said, the Bushes. I was like, I wonder if they let Jeb be in there? And he is, according to some, but I feel like he probably wouldn't want to go. He's like... meh.
He's very meh.
He's like the meh-est. Like little Georgie W is just like, hey guys, everybody want to party? And then like the dad's just like, nah, gonna do it. That's the one I met.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah. R.I.P. George Bush Sr. Sorry, I fell asleep at your speech. It was boring. I fell asleep under the table.
So he wasn't charismatic.
I was probably at a fucking that's why I searched Chicago Bohemian Grove, because I wanted to know if what Grandma and Grandpa took me to was
a Bohemian Grove meeting.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, I don't want to say anything. I'll talk about it later. So other presidents like Nixon and Reagan, Lyndon Johnson. There's this really popular picture. It's of Nixon, Lyndon Johnson, I believe, and Eisenhower and Reagan are in it. And that's when it really became real to me. I was like, oh, wow, these people are, like, this is an actual fucking thing. And, like, you can look at pictures online of the cremation of, like, when I was talking about how they were wearing robes and are in, like, you can look at that. You can watch it online.
What the hell?
I'll get a little more into that later. Yeah. So, like, other people, they're all, like, old-timey. They're not, like, it's not going to be anyone fun like George Clooney.
Right.
Like, that I know.
There's no, like, Brad Pitts or, like...
it's not, like, Niall Horan. Just kidding. Niall Horan is 1,000% in...
With musical guest by Ed Sheeran.
Musical guest, Ed. Don Pardo is somehow he's the high priest of that year's Grove, whatever. But other notable people were Henry Ford. If y'all know what Ford cars are and how he started the conveyor belt. Allegedly, but he didn't actually. The Rockefellers, William Randolph Hearst, Presidents Eisenhower, Ford, Theodore Roosevelt, Taft, Calvin Coolidge, as well as Walter Cronkite, Newt Gingrich, Donald Rumsfeld, super fun dude Dick Cheney, super cool guy, and Joseph Coors of Coors Beer. Time to get a beer going. Oh boy. So these next people are allegedly members. I'm not committing this information as
so the
true.
first ones,
These ones were definitely, like I said, there's a picture of Nixon, like those other people 1,000%, and these people may have been too, but these ones I'm not gonna like be like they 100%. I don't know why.
Okay, who are they?
Spill. Dish. So supposedly, Bing Crosby.
Okay.
Yeah. Who, wasn't all white Christmas. He was an alcoholic and like horrible.
Your neck
domestic.
is bleeding.
Is it really? Oh, you know what? I got bit by a vampire earlier.
No, but really, your neck is bleeding.
He had one tooth. Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna suck it back in like an alien. So, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
It's like, good get.
A couple random actors.
Yeah, Mark Twain was said to have been seen there, but he denies ever going. But, like, who knows? And the two craziest members that I was able to find were Danny Glover and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Danny Glover's like, he's like, yeah, Nixon, I was, that one time
Danny
I was
Glover.
I'm Danny Glover and I was in Lethal Weapon 2. Nixon's like, I kill people.
Yeah, like, what
Wait, am
the
I, like, actually
fuck?
bleeding? Am I actually bleeding?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you may have just called me out on a zit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm sorry that I mean
You know
to do
what?
that.
You know what? I don't even care. Some people have acne. Embrace it. Who fucking cares if you got acne?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? Sometimes people will think you are bleeding and bring it to your attention.
I didn't know,
but
man.
only because you care. You care.
Only because I care.
Because Morgan cares. Sounds like a bank like song, like
bank.
Yeah, like Spring Valley City Bank.
That was such an in joke.
That was so deep. Yeah. So people think that the Clintons were a part of the club.
I believe it.
But no. It was really more. Well, I mean, allegedly, but it was really more of a Republicans thing. And at a 2008 speech during Hillary, when she was campaigning then, Bill was giving a speech when a heckler started shouting about Bohemian Grove, to which Bill said, "The Bohemian Club? Did you say the Bohemian Club? That's where all those rich Republicans go and stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you should go. It'd be good for you. You'd get some fresh air." That's so Bill to say.
Oh
Like,
my God,
oh, yeah.
I live
Oh yeah,
for
I've
Bill.
heard for that. I've heard of that gross ass place before where people do shady shit. You should go.
Damn.
Yeah, Bill Clinton's like, Bill Clinton ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah, damn, living.
Yeah, and there's also, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but there's also this woman who, like, she, like, had this society about Bohemian Grove and, like, getting the news out there that, like, politicians were having all of these public, you know, policy conversations that weren't public. They were, you know, they were by Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
As per usual.
Yeah,
Dude, side note, speaking of crazy cult shit, has anyone been watching the new season of Riverdale? Because what the fuck? That's all I'm gonna say.
I haven't, but
I'll get more into it in the next episode.
Yeah, totally. You guys will be like, what? But I did see a poster at Walmart today for Riverdale, and I almost got it for you.
No, please don't, Holly. You always give me weird shit like that.
And I get you white elephant gifts as, like, no, I think you're gonna like this gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, most of the gifts, other than the bone and the owl from podcast gift corner, are in my apartment. Mostly books, yeah. Dianetics is over there
The
somewhere.
bone's my favorite, for sure.
The bone is, like, literally on your coffee table or something. Like,
I keep it on my TV stand.
Yeah, no, it looks, like, really good.
Thank you.
It's a good conversation starter. So, like I said, Walter Cronkite was in the club. He was a former CBS News anchor. He died the day we came home from Hawaii one year. To give it any perspective to you.
Thank you. Which trip? When I was really little or when I was just kind of little?
When you were just kind of little. The one where you got in a fight with your boyfriend.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You mean the whole time?
Yeah.
I was 14 and thought I was in love.
Everyone does. So, one year, Walter Cronkite was the, like, grand priest. And one year, at an award ceremony in 1999, he talked to people candidly about the New World Order, which is one of the first conspiracy theories of the Bohemian Grove that we'll get into. At the party, Cronkite talked about how countries needed to give up their sovereignty and yield to a one-world authoritarian government. Which it would be the fucking worst imaginable thing. He's like, the emergence of two sovereignties is good. He's like, there needs to be the emergence of almost the 300 national sovereignties. And it's like, no, I don't want that.
For sure.
Also, another thing, when asked about the club having any ties to satanic practices, he said, well, join me. I'm glad to sit at the right hand of Satan. And I mean, like, Same.
The right hand of Satan?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like, Walter Cronkite, are you being a jokester? Are you kidding? Another supposed...
Are you okay?
Uncle Frank, is this a joke? I'm sorry. Had to get a Home Alone joke in there somehow.
Uncle Frank, is this a joke?
Uncle Frank, is this a joke? Anyway, so another supposed member, or kind of member, is Hunter S. Thompson, a gonzo journalist and writer of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and longtime lover of mescaline.
I believe that one.
Yeah. Well, that he was there, maybe. What his role in an activity that went on, I don't believe happened, and I'll get into that in a sec. So during the 80s and 90s, this you do know about, because I told you about it, and I'm pretty sure I brought it up on this podcast before. This is the Franklin cover-up scandal. In the 80s and 90s, the Franklin Community Federal Credit Union in Omaha, Nebraska was allegedly funded by a pedophile ring made up of high-level U.S. politicians. The details of this are, like, beyond revolting, disgusting, like, anything I've ever read or listened or heard about in my entire life. And even if only part of what they say is true, like, monsters are fucking real.
Yeah.
And if you, like, want to know a lot about the Franklin cover-up, I suggest listening to the last podcast on the left episode, because they cover it really well.
Yeah, get into it.
It really broke Marcus as a human being, I feel like.
Yeah, well, it's really fucked up.
That's why I can't say, like, the thing, because, okay, yeah, I get into it a little bit, but nothing to that extent. So, in 1992, former U.S. Senator John DeCamp published a book called The Franklin Cover-Up, where he claims that a boy named Paul Benaki had been viciously raped and tortured by men at Bohemian Grove. Yeah. So that's where, like, these two things merge, or run perpendicular with one another, I guess. Like I said, he was also forced to rape and torture other younger boys and girls. I'm not going to go into details because they're gnarly as fuck. Paul Benaki was able to identify that the location of these attacks was at Boho Grove because he remembers seeing the gigantic owl. And then this is where Hunter S. Thompson comes back, because he was allegedly given $100,000 to make a snuff film inside of Bohemian Grove, and Paul Benaki claims to have seen Thompson there directing the snuff film. So that's up for debate. I don't think so.
You don't?
I don't. And I know the guys on last podcast don't either. I mean, I always get Paul Thomas Anderson and Hunter S. Thompson confused.
Right.
They're so very, very different. There Will Be Blood and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas are two such very different movies.
Great ones.
Honestly, though, yeah. Great. 100% hot dogs. So, circling back to Satan, the group is also said to be devil worshippers, practicing magic, sex magic, that is magic with a K.
I don't know if I believe that so much.
Made popular by Satanist Aleister Crowley, sex magic is the belief that people can generate sexual energy and direct it to metaphysically create what they want. That's like masturbation sigils and that kind of stuff. I won't get super into it. But I personally believe that sex magic 100% works. Although it's a boys' club, obviously sex workers were allowed in, so the fucking could commence.
Yeah.
And, all that sweet, sweet sex magic would start working its
powers.
It's magic with a K. There is a woman named Kathy O'Brien who wrote a book called Transformation of America. Transformation being a play on transformation, like transformation. She talks about how she was abused physically and sexually by the government while she was a part of the CIA Operation MK Ultra, where the CIA dosed people with LSD to see if it could give them superpowers, because basically they wanted to murder commies with like their minds, and they thought that's what Russian people were doing. So like, let's just give people some acid and like fucking see what happens. And the government's like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do that. They're like, let's do that. And then they came out with a report and they were like, we're very sorry for doing that. Watch, shout out to the show Wormwood. It does a very good job.
You're just full of shout outs today.
I'm so full of shout outs. It's been a
giving day today for you.
It's been a long time. So, Kathy says that she was brought to Bohemian Grove, while under, guidance, I guess you would say, of MK Ultra, and was used as a sex slave for elite members, and was
How old was she?
Like high school age, like a teenager. I think they mostly did. I mean, we've all seen Stranger Things. That's what they were kind of trying to do. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I fucking hope there's no upside down. You know what? I kind of wish there is an upside down.
As long as it's nowhere near me, girl.
As long as my job isn't there, I'll fucking go to the upside. I know I love my job. As long as I don't have to work in the upside down, I would fucking be a Would you be a Demogorgon if you could be a thing?
I don't know.
Do you think Demogorgons have souls?
They're kind of gross looking.
Do you think we have souls?
No.
No.
Not anymore.
No. Not us
after
anymore.
This podcast.
No. Not after reading all this shit I don't. So, yeah, she was used to, like, entice members into having sex with her while it was videotaped so it could later be used as blackmail against them.
Okay.
So, they'd be like, hey, you know that bill that I need you to sign? How about you don't tell people, or how about you sign my bill so that I don't show your family and friends this video of you fucking a little boy, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what that book's about?
And that's what they say. And that's what they did, supposedly. Yeah. That supposedly sounded very Canadian. But yeah, that's so fucked up. And MK Ultra was 100% a thing carried out by the CIA. So did this happen to Kathy? Like, she thinks so. She talks, this is really fucking weird. I had to include this. She talks about at Bohemian Grove that there is like a building that has a room, and this is like straight out of fucking like an episode of Black Mirror, or like, it just sounds like it can't, I don't know. But so there's apparently this necrophilia themed room, and it has a glass display of living animals. And then you walk down the halls and you see rooms where there's bestiality going on.
Ew.
Women fucking other women, men fucking men,
That's not bestiality.
Mothers and daughters, kids and kids,
Ew.
and just any other unlimited perverse visual display, which sounds like a lot to put together.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like the worst fucking haunted house.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
That sounds like the worst hall or corridor in the entire world. She says the scariest part for her, though, was overhearing talks of the New World Order, where politicians talked that if it was ever enforced, child sex slaves would be totally legal. So, we've got pedophile rings, we've got child sacrificing, satanic sex orgies, talk of a New World Order that make me want to fucking piss myself. It's so scary.
Yeah, it's really gross.
But, like, the New World Order conspiracy may not be that far off. Hopefully not the child prostitution ring, but there is a lot of talk within, like you said before, like the Illuminati, Freemasons, the Bilderberg group, they all want the New World Order, which is like just one. It's honestly, it's Futurama. Mm-hmm. I never realized that they have just a one. Is it authority? I don't know, but it is Richard Nixon. I don't know. Anyhoozle. So they have these things called the Lakeside Talks. And, like, it's not just, like, a father and son just, like, sitting next to a talking about, like, the birds and the bees and, like, skipping stones. It's, like, at another one of those big, extravagant, like, amphitheater things, where they're having speeches. And, like I said, they're, you know, having these conversations about public policies, and they're not being made public. It's all off the books. No one knows. It's all, like I said, former presidents and other people of like titans of industry, like people who, like I said, like Coors, like
Yeah.
At, like, different, like, the Rockefellers. So I don't think Trump would ever be allowed because he would, like...
He's way too...
Well, he
off
obviously...
the fucking wall.
He couldn't now, obviously, because he's president.
Yeah.
But also, I think he would, like, Instagram everything.
Yeah, he would Twitter about it.
Yeah, he would tweet everything about it.
He'd be like, really good sandwich here at the Bohemian Grove Club. LOL. Hashtag America.
Hashtag everyone's naked. Yeah, there's some really off-color things that Nixon said has happened. What? Well, like regarding the prostitution. Oh, and by prostitution, I mean sex work. They say prostitution a lot in the book, and I just kept being like sex working. But I mean, it wasn't always female sex workers. It was boy sex workers. And
little boys.
Well, allegedly. That's the alleged stuff. We know that there was homosexual, like, relations going on at Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, but who cares?
Exactly. Well, Richard Nixon did because he said some very off-color remarks about it that made me hate him more.
Yeah.
He is gross. So, now let's talk into the camp/grove being infiltrated by outsiders. People trying to get information. Like I said, no one is allowed into Boho Grove without membership. So how do we know all this crazy shit? Because some people have been able to get in undetected. Human pile of garbage. Why can't I talk? Human pile of garbage. It's because this guy sucks so much. Alex Jones infiltrated the camp and was able to film... Alex Jones? You know who Alex Jones is. He's the piece of shit who thinks the Sandy Hook shootings were a hoax.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. He also made a 2-hour-long documentary about Bohemian Grove. So if you want to waste 2 hours of your life, go and watch that. I started it, and it was like... It was so stupid. He's like, the things we talk about, I fucking hate him. He's like, the things that you're going to hear about in this documentary would even make an atheist skin crawl. And it's like, atheists don't want kids to die either.
Yeah, you loser.
You fucking dumb idiot. And he also talks a bunch about how how Bill and Hillary are involved, and they're not, huh?
I was just trying to get you there.
Sorry. Thank you. Get you there. I want to go there. So there's also a woman named Mary Moore who lived near Boho Grove during the 70s and 80s, aka during the Nixon-Reagan Bush years, and she doesn't believe like all the bonkers shit that goes down there, although obviously it is public record that the cremation of care happens. Like I said, it is terrifying. They're like, it's like
being the Little Mermaid.
It's like
That's
monks.
What that reminded me of.
No, that's have I have a bad? My computer's at 69%.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like I said, she doesn't believe all of that hubbub. And says that she has no desire to go onto the property. And she says that the only thing we truly have to worry about is that they're talking public policy. Another thing, a more recent attempt into someone trying to get inside of Boho Grove was a writer for Vanity Fair named Alex Shomatov. And he was arrested for trespassing. He said he wasn't trying to expose the horrible things that were supposedly going on. But he wanted to talk about how the Bohemian Grove were saying that their land was so sacred when they were actually desecrating it because they were causing deforestation to put up all these, fucking, like, fuck palaces. I don't know.
Seriously, fuck camps.
Yeah, like fuck camps. I would love to go to a fuck camp. Speaking of fuck camps, I'll get more into that in 1 second. I don't know, like, they're probably putting up, like, bouncy castles. Like,
yeah.
Honestly. And, like, there's still, like, so much, like I said, about it, but it's all, like, about Bohemian Grove. Like, there's, like, read the book if you're, you want to learn more about it. But, I mean, it is crazy lot. Shit. It's a lot to take in. I mean, the guy who wrote this book really, really knows. Like, he talked to people, like when you, like, talk to people about it, they kind of, like, I don't know, like, people in the media who are supposedly involved in Bohemian Grove are really good at, like, circling the conversation back to make it seem like that question was never even asked.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
because they have media training.
Exactly. It's because they have good PR. And they have a lot of money behind them. And, I mean, the information that we know about them is what they're letting us know about them. Like, that's why.
Yeah.
So
they want you to know exactly as much as you know.
Exactly.
Like,
so,
Beyonce wants you to know
shut up.
Everything you know. And that's all you know.
And you know what?
Like, it wasn't an accident that we saw that fight on the elevator.
Exactly. And you know what? I feel like that's how Obama was too. He's not like how Trump is, not to get back to this, but this is kind of a political episode. You know, Obama wasn't like, Chick-fil-A sucks. I asked for 2 sauces. They only gave me 1. But getting into Bohemian Grove being portrayed in pop culture, Eyes Wide Shut is probably what a lot of people went to. But Eyes Wide Shut is actually based off of an English elite group called Hellfire that would have exclusive sex parties. So there wasn't a lot of... That was like a fuck fest.
It wasn't like kids and like political shit.
No, it wasn't like, hey, how about no taxi on this? It was like strictly all fucky.
Cool.
And there are currently, which I think you mentioned in another episode, that like in LA there's Eyes Wide Shut parties, and you were right.
Yeah.
And it is a group called the Killing Kittens Club.
Oh, that's not the one I was talking about.
Well, I'm endorsing this one, and you wear masks and you fuck whoever you want, and it sounds awesome.
Why not?
Also,
as long as you have to get tested or something beforehand.
Exactly, and everything's consensual. Everything's all groovy and juvie. No, not
Judy.
Judy with me. Another, like, kind of basically what got me really into this, I guess, would be like the movie The Conspiracy.
Yeah, which we talked about in our found footage-y.
Exactly, because their story is kind of literally, I don't know, but they're not douchebag. Well, I mean, the one guy's kind of a douchebag, like Alex Jones. I don't know. They're just like 2 documentarians, and they're trying to get in, and they're just trying to learn more and more about it. I fucking talked about the movie, but they like have like the bull, and there's just obviously a lot different, but it just really made me think of like, that is probably what it was kind of like, and like trying to like, just knowing that it is a real place and everything, and just like how scary it would be, because I mean, it is there, it's like extensively, because I mean, just imagine, they have industrial sized kitchens, they have all of this stuff, it's hugely staffed, they have so much security.
Yeah. Why?
To keep all of those people safe. They have airports.
Damn.
On site.
What?
To fly people. Yeah, because they don't want them to know, if they get seen at LAX, which would be far, or whatever airports in San Francisco.
There's one there,
they don't want to be seen there.
Damn.
And especially like if a band is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
I tried looking up, like, I mean, they are very good at keeping things under. I mean, like I said,
hard to find a lot of information.
Yeah, and in that in the Conspiracy movie, it talks about how like, we know what they want us to know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like the people who control the media and all the people who control what's being let out are the people who are like part of it. That owl is staring at me.
Scary, isn't it?
With its fucking wonky ass eyes, like, duh. I'm in Bohemian Club. That would be...
Oh my god, I wish everyone could have just saw what your face looked like in that moment.
I do too.
Because it was insane.
Right?
Well, that was a crazy fucking...
That was a roller coaster of a fuck.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, so that was Secret Societies.
Secret Society.
Secret Societies. No weaving, webbing, spiders here, man. I
don't
remember.
You haven't seen The Skulls? That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, like a Joshua Jackson, which I do.
Morgan, we're gonna do an episode about the Skull and Bones. They fucking masturbate in front of their parents or something. I don't know.
Ew! Gross.
That's cool, man. So hit us up on Facebook at Facebook.com.
Snapchat us at the Sisters Group Snapchat.org.
We do this joke every time.
I know, it's
slide
really
into
fun
our
to get
DMs like, Morgan.
Slide into my DM like,
Slide into my DMs like, what are we? Oh man, we are two girls living our lives to the fullest. Morgan is wearing a really cool green hat. So yeah, like I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted. Check us out at facebook.com/
Yeah, Facebook is where we're definitely the most like, hey, what's up, everybody, it's us.
So I'm about to say our Twitter, but definitely make sure to interrupt me while I'm saying what the name is.
Neither of us have logged on to Twitter in months.
I get so overwhelmed. There's so many notifications. I got scared. I get so scared. I'm sorry, you guys. I love all of you so much. Whoever, I really wish...
Yeah, someone wrote a very nice article. And there's not like a name. I'm sure if we searched hard enough, we could find the name.
And maybe the person will reveal themselves. Maybe. Ooh, maybe it was Olmec from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay. So this has been us. We love you, and good night. Good morning. Good Saturday. Is it Saturday?
Are you just naming underwear? Day of the week underpants?
Ew, dude, I remember that shit when they were scented.
Dude, I just remember sometimes you would see people at school wearing
Thursdays. Monday.
Thursdays on a Monday. And that is where we're going to leave you. Bye.